Hello, everyone, and welcome to Southern League Cavalier Football and the Mike McClure Coaches Show. I'm Mike Fowler, your host this season, as we talk Cavalier football each week and visit with new Cavalier coach Mike McClure. I want to thank Wilkinson Chevrolet, Domino's, M.R. Stoner Electric, Sheriff Tracy Carter, Carolina Firearms, and the Kendall Pawn Shop for helping bring you our Coaches Show every Tuesday night at 7:30 on 105.5 FM WFJA and rebroadcast at 5:30 every Friday night prior to our 6:30 kickoff on 95.1 FM and 10:50 AM WWGP. Video of our Coaches Show will be posted on the WFJA Facebook page each Wednesday by noon. I look forward to talking with Cavalier coach Mike McClure tonight and bringing you exciting Southern League Cavalier football. We're going to take a short break and hear from our great sponsors. We'll be right back with Coach McClure right after these messages.
Coaches Show sponsors: Wilkinson Chevrolet in their new location on Highway 87 South. Domino's with convenient locations throughout the Lee County area. M.R. Stoner Electric, residential, industrial, and commercial electricians. Sheriff Tracy Carter, proud to support high school athletics. Carolina Firearms, your full-service firearms training and gun store. Kendall Pawn Shop, buy, sell, trade. Brick Capital Video, for all special occasions. WFJA for all your sports, FM 105.5.
Welcome back to the Coach Mike McClure Show. Thank you for joining us tonight. We want to take this time really quickly. As you see, Coach McClure and I are in this room here. The WFGA has done a great job keeping us as safe as possible in this place. There is a little plexiglass separation between the two of us and some air filters in here, so we're just trying to be as safe as we possibly can. We want to thank WFJA for making that possible as we bring you this show each and every Tuesday throughout this spring season. So, Coach, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
We got that first game under the belts, and didn't come out exactly the way the Cavs wanted, I'm sure, but what are some of your thoughts about the game?
Well, as we said, it didn't come out the way that we expected and the way that we had intended to it, but looking at the film going back, it wasn't as bad as we thought on the sideline that Friday night. We were we done some positive things. We were in some spots to make plays. It just didn't happen, and it just didn't go our way at that time.
Yeah, as you mentioned, you just said there's always a positive to take out of each and every game. Mm-hmm. And what were some of those things that you saw that from some of the players that maybe surprised you or didn't necessarily surprise you, but some positive comments that came out of that game?
Well, one of the biggest things was some of our players did step up. Some guys that we had been wondering what they could do. When they got the opportunity, they did step up and they made big plays. The other one was that we were not as out of position as we felt or as we thought we were. We were actually in position to make some of those plays, and mainly speaking from a defensive standpoint, we were in place to make the tackle or to make the interception but just things just kind of happened where we either got outran or we just simply missed the tackle. Mm-hmm. In those cases. So that in a sense that is refreshing, because week one going into it, you don't do much tackling, just simply because you're working with each other. So the biggest thing is now that we understand that tackling is something that we got to get back to and clean up. Mm-hmm. That's something that we felt like is being in the right position. We really do. We clean it up.
Yeah, there was some good, positive things. I remember towards the end of the first half, especially initial game, it was kind of hard for us to kind of slow Franklinton down. Mm-hmm. But towards the end of that first half, they had some good positive play. We had a big stop on a fourth down play in the red zone, and then we were able to come back and get some positive yardage before heading into halftime. So that the kids were able to pick up some positive in that, and build some momentum as they came out in the second half and started at the score.
Yeah.
One of the things that, speaking about that, looking at some of the highlights of the game, Cavaliers were outgained, about 480 to 183 in total yards. There was a lot of big plays that Franklinton was able to get against us. But Blake Harrington had a real solid game, was 10 of 17 for 171 yards for the Cavaliers and threw a couple touchdowns. But he really, took a lot of hits in that game as well.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we also looking back at the film. We didn't handle the blitz kind of well against those, and they were coming. They were coming each play, and we knew that they were kind of blitz. So that's just kind of, once again, another positive point for us to understand that, okay, now we go back, we do a little bit more practicing of blitz pickup and those type of things at practice.
Mm-hmm. What are some of the things that you saw in that first game that maybe you want to do some extra work on this week? Or well, as you said, we'll only have 2 non-conference games with the spring season. So next week, March the 12th, we'll have our first conference game. So what are those things that you're trying to fine tune as you keep going forward, not just for this week, but you get ready for the Tri-County?
Definitely, as I mentioned, tackling. Tackling is the biggest thing. We had far too many missed tackles on defense. We just got to clean that up, and we just got to continue to get more guys to the football. I think we pursued the football extremely well. We just didn't make the play whenever we got there. Another thing would be, obviously the offensive line play. We got to clean that up a little bit, particularly picking up the blitz, understanding where guys are coming from, understanding the scheme, those type of things. And then ultimately just putting the right guys in the right position as we head into, I think, not having a scrimmage prior to that week to week one kind of would allowed us to see what guys were out of position. But, now, since Friday's behind us, we were able to use that and kind of reevaluate some guys and move them around and put them in a better position that works for our team and with the players that we have.
Sure, that's great. Yeah. How about injuries? I didn't see anybody get hurt. Saw a couple of guys limp off the field during the game, but
everybody's healthy.
Good.
Everybody's healthy, which is another positive that came from the game.
Sure.
We was able to get out of there with no injuries, which is big.
Yeah, that's a big thing, especially in the first game, since this was, like you mentioned, no scrimmages and having to go right into a game type atmosphere. And it's good to hear that they came back with all healthy and ready for this week's game as well. So let's take a quick look at the results out of the Tri-County Conference. Last week, of course, Southern Lee went down to Franklinton, which was last Thursday night. Lee County got off to a good start. They beat South Granville 27-6. It was Union Pines 47 and Cummings 20. Smithfield-Selma took down Western Harnett 28-12. West Johnson 21, Harnett Central 15. And Knightdale 33, Triton 0 for the start of the non-conference season, this 2021 spring football season. This week in the Tri-County teams, it's going to be Southern Lee, of course, hosting Carborough in their home opener at the Cavalier Stadium. So we invite I know we're limited on fans still with this thing, but hopefully the Cavalier fans will come out and support the team.
Yeah, I believe the number just kind of went up, so we'll be able to get more people than we expected, out this Friday.
Great, and that's going to be good. Support those kids because they have their home opener. Union Pines will be at Forest Hills, Western Harnett and West Johnston. Harnett Central will be at Clayton, and Triton will host South Johnston. Those are going to be your games coming up this Friday in the Tri-County Conference as we go forward with this season. Again, this first week is going to be the last non-conference game that we'll have here in the season before we get ready for Tri-County 3A play next week. And what are your early thoughts about this Tri-County Conference?
We're excited, expecting, we need to definitely go out and have a good outing on Friday as we roll into conference, having that momentum going into conference play, just allowing the kids to build up some confidence in those areas heading into the conference. I'm excited, but we don't want to look past any team. We need to take care of business on Friday before we head into conference.
That's right.
And hopefully make a run.
And you mentioned that just a few minutes ago. We were talking before the show, and it's important for the kids they got that one game in. You put it behind you now. That's behind you. Just focus on Carborough this week, and we'll talk a little bit more about Carborough here in the next few minutes. So again, we thank you for joining us for the Coach Mike McClure Show. We're going to go ahead and take our first break. We'll be back after these messages as we hear from our great sponsors.
Coach's Show sponsors: Wilkinson Chevrolet in their new location on Highway 87 South. Domino's with convenient locations throughout the Lee County area. M.R. Stoner Electric, residential, industrial, and commercial electricians. Sheriff Tracy Carter, proud to support high school athletics. Carolina Firearms, your full-service firearms training and gun store. Kendall Pawn Shop, buy, sell, trade. Brick Capital Video, for all special occasions. WFJA for all your sports, FM 105.5.
Welcome back to the Coach Mike McClure Show and Southern Lee Cavalier Football. We want to take this time again to thank you for joining us tonight for our Coach's Show. And Coach, this is the time of the show that we're going to announce the players of the game. And to start off with the Norman Financial Group offensive and defensive players of the game that are selected by your WWGP Sports radio team. We had on defense this week is Joseph Graham, one of the defensive linemen that we thought did a really good job in keeping some of the run when it went up the middle, and took up a few blockers at the time that allowed for some of the other Cavaliers to make up some tackles in that game. And we just thought he held his ground and did a really solid job.
Yeah, Joseph, he's been great for us on the defensive line. He's actually a transfer kid that we got in, and so he's been playing offensive line and defensive line, and he really made an impact on that defensive line. He finished with 6 tackles. It was a quiet 6 tackles. You wouldn't know that unless you watch the film. So he definitely done his assignment, and he done his job, and very proud of him, and appreciate everything that he's brought to us this far.
That's great. So congratulations to Joseph. And the Norman Financial Group offensive player for last week's game is Josh Stone. Josh had a wide receiver, had a couple great catches, including the 64-yard touchdown pass, which actually he caught across the middle and really did a great job on the run to break away and showed some speed that he's got, and got it in the end zone for a Cavalier touchdown. So congratulations to Josh.
Yeah, Josh is he's a track guy, so that's where that speed came in from, and he was just really one of those guys who waited his turn, and he capitalized on his opportunity. And so when his number was called, he came in, made a big play, which was real big of him. So and he'll definitely be one of the guys that we count on offensively at receiver. So.
Good deal. So congratulations to Josh Stone, and he's a junior, so we'll get him another year as well.
He'll be back.
All right. So that moves us on to the big award here, which is the Coach Mike McClure and Wilkinson Chevrolet. And remember, Wilkinson Chevrolet has a new location down at Highway 87 South, down across from Walmart down there. But it is time to name our Wilkinson Chevrolet Coach Mike McClure player of the game for last week, and that player is linebacker. Junior John Wilson.
John Wilson, yeah.
So say some words about John and his performance in the game.
John, he was really big in the middle as far as being a quarterback on defense for us on Friday night. He lined guys up. He told guys where to go and where they needed to be, and he really played sideline to sideline, which is what you need at linebacker play. You need guys who can run sideline to sideline, run the ball down, and just be everywhere on the field. And he was truly that. He had 10 tackles. One sack and 1 tackle for a loss. So he was in a strong, started off his junior year strong with his stat wise.
Yeah, and like you said, he starting most of the year and a half ago now, I guess, during his sophomore season, you can see then that he had some obviously skills, but some leadership skills as well. And I'm sure he's passing it on to this team this year as well.
He is. He's really taking charge of the defense.
That's great. So those congratulations to those players of the week. John Wilson will also receive a certificate to Bubba's Subs and Pizza as part of his award. And this award will be named each and every week this season. And eventually it will end up in the Southern Lee trophy case at Southern Lee to be displayed. So we're excited about that. We want to thank Wilkinson Chevrolet for their sponsorship of the trophy. So this week, the Cavaliers take on, as long as I've been involved with Southern Lee in the football program, I don't believe we've ever played Carborough High School. They're coming off from the 2019 season. They were 7-3. They're part of the Mid-State 2A Conference. And last week they lost their opener to Bartlett Yancey 23-2. Ironically, it was a non-conference game, but they're actually in the same conference, those teams. So have you had a chance to even see any film on these guys, or do you have any experience in the past with your coaching experiences?
No experience in the past. We have had a chance to watch film, though. We got the film. After their game on Friday, we got the film, and so we just been watching that. So now we had a chance to check them out and see what they do.
What kind of things are you expecting to see in that, based on the film, or what do you expect to see this Friday night?
Expect them offensively to come out and try to throw the ball around, which is what they done this past Friday. Being kind of the weather conditions were a mess, and they still came out and kind of threw it around in those type of conditions. So we expect the same thing in drier conditions. We expect them to try to come out and throw the ball, more quick games, more screens, and those type of things. And then obviously on film, what we put out was for us, we didn't handle the blitz well, and we saw that they did like the blitz. So from a defensive standpoint, for them. we can expect them to come in and try to attack us inside those A gaps with blitzing.
Mm-hmm. And I guess that would be also, things you'll be working on in the practice. One of the things we saw during the game was obviously there was a lot of pressure up the middle, and we saw Ethan Stallings grabbing a couple of the guys, talking to them, communicating with them to maybe on assignments and stuff. So is that some of the things that's a continuation thing, I'm assuming, as you learn, these younger players learn what needs to be done and where you want to focus.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing. And you take kind of what the team is going to give you, and you kind of just work. Those are the things that you work during practice. Is kind of getting kids ready and prepared for what the team is going to do, working in individual drills and those type of things.
Mm-hmm. So we talked. You talked with John Hockaday last week, and I've been talking before and watching. This is an inexperienced varsity team with Southern Lee. A lot of young guys. I think we have one senior. Ethan Stallings is the only senior starting on offense, and only a couple starters on the defensive side of the ball. So who were some of the players that really you saw that you were, I won't say surprised, but stepped up and really impressed you the way you thought they would?
Well, I'll speak defensively first. Reggie Butler, who's a ninth grader. He's a ninth grader. He really stood out on film. We put him in a game. He knew what to do. He handled his assignment well. He made impact whenever he got in. So he's a guy that we're looking to go ahead and throw him into some situations and go ahead and play him, and so that he continues to get better and he continues to grow. Offensively, Kendall Morris at running back. We obviously knew he had flashes where he could break one and those type of things, and so that kind of came out a little bit on his outside runs and catching the screen game and those type of things. So he really kind of done what we expect him to do, and we just can only expect him to get any better.
Yeah, and it was Kendall Morris, I believe, that caught the first touchdown.
Yeah, he did.
He did. First touchdown to get the Cavaliers their first score of the season. So that's something that's going to be. Another person I mentioned that I saw made some notes down, that Elijah Donaldson was on a few tackles playing defensive back for us. So that was another good spot to see as they go forward. So real quickly, just a couple seconds here before our next break. You got first home game at Cavalier Stadium. You excited about that?
I'm very excited. Very excited.
Yeah.
I think the kids are excited as well.
Yeah, I think so too. It's going to be a good thing. It'll be guys to be home for the first time in quite a while as we get ready for this game this Friday night. Well, Coach McClure, appreciate it. Thanks and good luck this Friday with the game and, of course, the rest of the season. We're going to go and take another timeout. We'll be right back after these messages from our great sponsors. Welcome back, and we hope you've enjoyed listening to the Mike McClure Coaches Show. We remind you to join us each Tuesday night at 7:30 on 105.5 FM WFJA, and every Friday night prior to games at 5:30 on 95.1 FM and 10:50 AM WWGP. Our Coaches Show is also posted on the WFJA Facebook page each Wednesday by noon, and we hope you will take these opportunities to join us this season for Cavalier football. Good luck to the Cavaliers, coach, in their home opener as we take on the Jaguars of Carborough in week number 2 of the spring football season. We thank all our sponsors for bringing you our show tonight, and we thank you for listening to WFJA and WWGP Sports. Good night, everyone. Go Cavs.